Video, we're going to look at the Copilot feature row summaries. So as you can see in this environment, what I have set up is an account record. And when we come into that account record, you can see up the top, there's a Copilot summary. Now, in this case, what instructions I've given it is, please indicate what cases are against this record. Can you highlight them in bold when they are high? And it's also got the fact that it's a high, just so it's easier to understand why that's being highlighted. Sorry, a high priority. This information can then be copied and used elsewhere. We also have the capacity to lay this out in a number of different ways. So if I go down to products and I go into widget A, you'll see I also have a summary here. Admittedly, this is just showing the fields that are on the current form. But if you have a large number of tabs on that form, this can be used as a summary for that kind of information. If I go into my suppliers, we'll just run that again so you can see it happening. So it'll generate the summary. And as you can see, it's saying this supplier provides a range of products, including widget A and widget C. So it actually has an understanding of related records. And what I've done is actually made it so it will highlight down here the hypertext, a hyperlink that you can click on. You can actually do it on this text up here. I just didn't do that when I created it. And if I click on that, you'll see it's taken us to that record. So that summary up the top there is not only aware of related records, but you can also use the function to take you to them directly. Finally, on inventory transaction, we've just set this one up to show the quantity, transaction type, and transaction date. The main reason this is when one is being shown is because I've asked it to present in a table. So you can ask to present in a table, paragraph summary, bullet points, and additional formats. So the summaries really are there for you to be able to consider what additional information that's related to your record you're looking at you want presented. So moving over to how this is configured, if we come in here, you'll see I've got the product record that I was looking at before. And you'll see there's this option, row summary, and it's saying it's applied. Now, one of the things to be aware of is when you apply this to a table, it will be on every main version of the form. It's currently unable to be turned off against those main ones, but it will not be on the quick create ones. So when you go into a row summary, it will bring you into something very similar if you've looked at Copilot Studio, where you create a prompt. And as you can see here, when we had that record showing the product name, the product price, and product supplier, we've actually gone in and picked those fields from the form so that it knows exactly where to go look for them. And it will also show it in the format that we want it to be laid out in. And I've also said in there, format the titles in bold text. So when that happens, you can test the prompt and you can see the outcome that you'll get. But in this case, while we saw it in bold in the summary, it does actually show up with the asterisk beside it to show that it's going to be in bold. So there is some visibility difference there. The other thing we can do is add data, and that's where you get to be able to bring in the information as I'm showing up here, where you go to those tables and get the details, and you'll see that's where you get the related tables. So if we go and jump back to the table for supplier, you'll see in here when I've used the logic, probably want to not create spelling mistakes like I had there. So when we come into the row summary record here, you'll see I've put in those fields that I want the information to go and look at, but I've also given it an example of what I want the hyperlink to be laid out like. So I've actually taken a hyperlink to widget A in the system and said, if the result is widget A, the hyperlink should be this. And that's how the widget C that also showed up in that summary was correctly sent to the hyperlink. So that's the way you get that relationship between records. If you want to go further than this, you'll want to use the Copilot chat functionality on the right-hand side, and that's where you can pull in the full power of Copilot Studio to not only leverage prompts like this, but also bring in information from external systems, actions, and a range of other capabilities.